Hello, hello, hello. It's Bobi, aka Paginator, and it's time for the July TBR game. So, I don't know if you noticed, but you're getting a lot of videos from me this week. This is my third in 1 week, and so far this summer I've been doing one a week so far, so I'm sorry. It's just the way things worked out. Sometimes scheduling happens. So, I think I have gone a little bit insane, or a big bit if I wasn't already, and this is what is happening. Not only am I going to be doing my regular 10 rolls for this TBR game using G's TBR avatar, but I will also be doing prompts for Summerween and Sharkathon. I guess if there's ever a time for me to give myself a massive TBR, it's in the summer when I'm not working, right? Alright, let's get rolling. Here is roll number 1. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're choosing a card. Now I do have a redraw card that I got in a previous TBR that I can use if I don't like what this card gives me. Agnic High, read a book that features a competition. Okay, cool. Okay, so rule number 1 got us a book that features a competition, and I don't know if this is strictly following the prompt, but it's close enough. And it is Rise of the School for Good and Evil. It is about two brothers who are in competition as they start the School for Good and Evil. This is a prequel to the School for Good and Evil series by Saman Chainani. And throughout this TBR, I'm going to be trying to prioritize my recent purchases. So you might see quite a few books from my recent haul that I did not too long ago. And I will be giving a little bit information about each book, so if you missed that haul, you can still get an idea of what this one is about. This is two brothers, one good, one evil, and they watch over the endless woods. They choose the students for the School for Good and Evil, and they train them, teach them, and prepare them for their fate. And then something happens, something unexpected, and it changes everything. The brothers are battling. Good and evil are battling. And I felt like that was enough to like be a competition. I don't know if it's going to start this way, but maybe the battle between good and evil starts as a rivalry between these two brothers. Either way, that's what I'm doing for this prompt. Roll number 2. 3. 1, 2, 3. Dragon Dance? So, Dancing Dragon is to read a book digitally, either Kindle or otherwise. I can totally handle that. Rule number 2 got us Dancing Dragon, read a book digitally, either Kindle or otherwise. So I wanted to pick an audiobook, and I looked for in my local library audiobook system, Libby, for a book that had haunt or haunting in the title. And what I found that looked kind of fun and cute is a book called Tales from the Haunted Mansion, Volumes 1 and 2 by John Esposito. So I thought that I would get this one because for Summerween, one of the prompts is to read a book with haunt in the title. So this is Haunted Mansion as in the Disney ride Haunted Mansion. Full disclosure, I've never been to it, but I watch enough Disney YouTubers that I've heard lots of stories and things about the Haunted Mansion, and this, as a lot of Disney-fied books are, it's probably not going to be the greatest literary work I've ever read or listened to in my life, but it'll cover 2 prompts in one, and we're all about trying to make things efficient this month, because I have a whole lot of things to read. Roll number 3. 3 again. 1, 2, 3, and we're drawing another card. Ozai, a book with a red cover. Roll number 3 got us a book with a red cover, and so I picked A Spindle Splintered by Alex E. Harrow, and it has red all around the edges as well as in the middle here. There's a few bits of red. This is a little Sleeping Beauty retelling. I will tell you a little bit more about it. It is about Zinnia Gray. She is just turning 21, and it's the last birthday she'll ever have. The dust jacket tells us, when she was young, an industrial accident left Zinnia with a rare condition. Not much is known about her illness, just that no one has lived past 21. Her best friend Charm is intent on making Zinnia's last birthday special with a full Sleeping Beauty experience, complete with a tower and spinning wheel. But when Zinnia pricks her finger, something strange and unexpected happens, and she finds herself falling through worlds with another Sleeping Beauty, just as desperate to escape her fate. So that sounded fun, and it's little, which is helpful. This will also cover a Sharkathon prompt. I'm not going to tell you the Sharkathon prompts right now. I'm going to wait for the Sharkathon announcement video. I'm just going to say whether it will cover one. There are going to be 7 prompts for Sharkathon, so look out for that video coming soon. Next week it will be out. Roll number 4. 3 again. I seem to roll a lot of 3s today. 1, 2, 3. Another card. Now, some months we hardly draw any cards. This one, almost everyone has been a card. Roku, book with a dragon on the cover or in the title. Now, I do have some books that are priority reads, and if I don't have one with a dragon on it, I might redraw later. I don't know. Okay, since I'm adapting this game for my own rules, I think what I'm going to do is write down this prompt, but also do a second draw, and then I can look at what I have optionally to read. So let's draw a second card, and we'll consider that my redraw used at this point. Desna and Eska read a book about siblings. Okay, so rule number 4, I originally drew something, a book with a dragon in the title or on the cover, and I do have a book I could read for that. But, as I said, I wanted to prioritize, and especially the spookier books that I've purchased recently. And so with my redraw, I got a book featuring siblings, and this is going to be perfect. It is one of my recent spooky purchases. It is Mirror Girls by Kelly McWilliams, and this is about twins who were separated at birth. Their parents were in trouble they actually died for loving across color lines. One of the sisters is black, one is white passing, and she is the heiress to a cotton plantation. The black sister is an organizer in Harlem, and I just feel like this is going to be really interesting. There are secrets, there are ghosts, there are curses, so we've got the spooky paranormal thing as well, and I just think it sounds really fascinating. So that will cover that prompt. It also will cover a Sharkathon prompt. Roll number 5. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Burnout. Uh-oh. Okay, so burnout doesn't give me any prompts, so this won't actually count as rule number 5, but I do have to have the rolls from now on. So for example, if I roll a 6 again, I'd only get to move 3. If I rolled an odd number, I think I round down. Let me check G's instructions. Yes, you would round it down. So like if I rolled a 5 and half of that would be 2.5, so I'd round down to 2. 1. I can't round down to a half, like half rounded it down to 0, so I guess that means I just don't move, and we'll roll again. 3, so that means I'd move 1 space, and we draw another card. White Lotus. Read a book with flowers on the cover or a flower name in the title. Alright, number 5 got us a book with flowers on the cover or a flower name in the title. So I picked Dark and Shallow Lies by Ginny Myers Sane, and this has flowers here. It will also cover a Summerween prompt because it says to read a book with the Halloween color or colors on it, and purple is a Halloween color, and we've got purple blossoms here, so that's going to cover 2 in 1. We love that. Dark and Shallow Lies is set in a Louisiana town known as the psychic capital of the world, and our main character is 17-year-old Gray. Her best friend disappeared 6 months earlier, and she doesn't believe that no one knows what happened. She's like, I live in a town full of psychics. Somebody knows what happened. So she's going to, of course, investigate, and she realizes that the people in the town, like everyone in the town, is hiding something. That includes her grandmother, Honey, her childhood crush, Hart, and even her late mother, whose secrets called to her from beyond the grave. So Again, another spooky mystery, perfect for Summerween times. Dark and Shallow Lies. Roll number 6. 3, 1, oh. Do you know what I realized? I moved here, there instead of there. So I should be here, which is still a card pick, so we're fine there. And then 3, again, I only have to get to move 1 because of the burnout, so that lands me on Team Avatar. This means that a family member or friend has to pick a read for me. Roll number 6 got us Team Avatar to have a friend or family member pick. So I sent a picture of 3 different books to a friend of mine, and she chose for me to read Misery by Stephen King. This is a book that I literally got at the town library for $1 yesterday. I've been wanting to read Misery since I first saw the movie. I don't know if the movie and the book are going to be similar at all, but I'm super excited to read this. Now, this is also going to count for a Summerween pick prompt, which is to read a slasher. Now, I don't really think this is a slasher, but it's the closest thing that I have to a slasher. Yeah, so it's going to have to count. If you're unfamiliar with the story, we have Paul Sheldon, who is a very well-known author. He has a historical romance series that he has written, and his main character is Misery Chastain. She's the name of his character is Misery. Well, he is working on a book, and he is in Colorado. And one day he wakes up after a car accident in a strange place, which is the secluded farmhouse. And he has got a crushed knee and 2 shattered legs, a broken pelvis, and there's this woman standing there going, "I'm your #1 fan." Her name's Annie Wilkes. She's an ex-nurse, and so she's trying to, help him recover from this car accident, but also she has some very controlling ways, and she is familiar with how to use an axe and a blowtorch. And she's not happy with his most recent Misery book. And so what's she going to do to her favorite author when he does something unforgivable in her mind to her favorite character? Will he make it out? Roll number 7. 3, 1. Oh, and I only have getting roll 1 again. I keep forgetting that. Okay, so I move 1 and we draw another card. Flopsy, read a book that you find intimidating. Oh boy. Maybe I should have saved my redraw for that round. Roll number 7 brought us a book you find intimidating. Now this one I'm going to show you. You might at first go, what? Why? Usually people think of large books as intimidating reads. This book is intimidating to me because of the author. This is Kiss and Tell by Adib Khorram. I loved his duology about Darius the Great so much. It's written on my heart. I loved it so much. And I am intimidated to read this one because I don't want to fall out of love with this author's work. So this is in a very different direction. It is about a boy, Hunter, who is in a pop band, and he's gay, and he's because he's a public figure and a celebrity, he's expected to keep certain kinds of secrets, as far as how sexually active he is and his relationships and things like that. But some of his personal details get leaked online, and there's this perfect boy that he's supposed to be playing for the cameras, and then there's Hunter himself. So very different from Darius the Great is Not Okay, but yeah, I'm just a little bit nervous to read it because I want to still be in love with this author's writing. Oh, I forgot to mention that one will also cover a prompt for Sharkathon. Roll number 8. 3 and only 1 again, and I get into the eclipse, and I have to slide back here, I believe. Let me double check the instructions. Yes, I have to go back, and then this also takes me to a -3, so I have to go even further back. So let me make sure I'm moving in the right way. 1, 2, 3, and this brings us to Cabbage Pot. So roll number 8 got us a Cabbage Pot. Now, I am cheating a little bit this month, and you're just going to have to let me. Instead of my usual bag of Cabbage Pot prompts, book titles, etc., I decided to use my TBR jar that came in an Owlcrate box once. This says, "Let Owlcrate Apothecary decide your fictional fate." So I've written some names of some more of those spooky books that I purchased recently. There are 5 books in here, and I'm going to pull one, and this is going to be our Cabbage Pot for this month. Okay, so I have drawn The Girl in the Headlines. Alright, so The Girl in the Headlines by Hannah Jane is about girl Andy, who seemingly has this perfect life. She goes to sleep on her 18th birthday, just everything's fine. She wakes up the next morning in a motel room, and she's covered in blood and unable to remember what happened. Her parents were apparently brutally attacked in the middle of the night. Her father is dead, her mother's in a coma, and her little brother Josh is missing, and Andy is the prime suspect. So of course she's on the run from the police, and there's this nice boy who worked at the motel's front desk, Nate, and he kind of joins her on her journey to figure out what happened and figure out who the real killer is. She doesn't remember. Is she the real killer? Is that going to be like a plot twist thing? I don't know. Roll number 9. 1. So again, half of 1 is 0.5 rounded down, so we're not moving. Roll again. Half of 6 is 3. 1, 2, 3. No! 2 cabbage pots. Roll number 9 got us the cabbage pot again. So we're going to reach into this jar one more time. Give me a good one, please. Oh, I've got 2 stuck. And we have Verity. Oop. Can you see that? There we go. Alright, so Verity by Colleen Hoover is another creepy book about a writer. Oh boy! So this is about Lowen Ashley, who is a struggling writer and really just needs a job. And she's offered one by Jeremy Crawford. He's the husband of the best-selling author Verity Crawford, who has been gravely injured. And Lowen is hired to complete the remaining books in a series that his wife was unable to finish. Now, it's unclear here whether Verity is just injured or if she passed away, because Lowen is sorting through Verity's notes and outlines, hoping to find things to help her, and she finds an unfinished autobiography that Verity never intended for anyone to read. Also in the autobiography, it includes her recollections of the night that her family was forever altered. So what does Lowen do with this? Does she hide it from the husband? Does she show it to the husband? Does she use it? Like, what's going on? And I don't know. We'll find out. If you've seen the YouTube channel, The Daunties, it's mostly Disney content, but they do, especially more recently, talk about books they've read. Donna from that channel read this book and really, really enjoyed it. So I am also partially going off of her recommendation here, but I look forward to reading this one. Last roll. Heaven help us. Alright, so we move forward 1 and we pick a card. Oh boy. The Promise. Read a graphic novel, comic, or manga. Thank goodness. Alright, roll number 10 got us a graphic novel, comic, or manga. And I don't have much of these that need to be read, that are on my TBR shelf. Because I tend to read them fairly quickly after I get them. But I do have a series that I've never read. I started the first one and only got a little ways into it. And some of you might be like, are you kidding me, when I show you what this is? Sailor Moon! Never have read the series. I have the first 5. So I'm going to be reading volume 1. And then if I'm really into it, of course, I can continue to read more. So really, you guys could probably do a better job of this than I can, because I just barely eked my way into the first few pages. But it does follow this girl called Sailor Moon, and I believe she's just an ordinary girl, but then she's given some powers. And there's a cat, I think he's called Luna. I can't remember, and I know there's a character called Tuxedo Mask, and you guys are probably yelling at me right now. I am really, really sorry. That's why I'm going to read it, so I can learn more, right? Alright, so other prompts from Summerween that I didn't address would be to read a book in the dark or at night. I could do with anything I'm reading during that time. And then another one is to make or bake a spooky fall themed treat. So again, not book specific. Like I said, my Sharkathon prompts and reads for that will be in a separate video. A couple of them, as you saw, are doubling up for reads from the TBR game. But then there are some that are just for Sharkathon. So look forward to that next week. And we'll call it good. One other thing before I wrap up, I decided not to do like 2 or 3 books per prompt as I've been doing the last few months. I know that I was enjoying that and giving me choices, but what I decided to do instead was to choose an individual book for each prompt, and then if worse comes to worse and I just can't get into that particular book, I can swap it out for something else that fills that prompt, as long as, you know, it matches. So that's what I'm going to do from now moving forward. It's just easier and takes a lot less prep time to pick one book per prompt. Alrighty, I think that's going to do it for today, so we're going to wrap this sucker up. I hope you guys are having a great summer so far. It's almost the end of June. It will be the end of June when this posts. And I hope that July is even better than your June was. So for now, have a wonderful, magical, and bookish day. Happy reading. Adios.